Okay. Now we are just comparing how the public inheritance, private inheritance, and protected inheritance is done. Right? Here we are considering, oh, I missed to label this. So this is class A, which is my base class, and class B are my derived classes. Okay. Now generally what happens when private inheritance is done, protected inheritance is done, and public inheritance is done. That means after that colon, what I have to mention? The visibility mode, right? And what are the options for me? These three. Either it can be a private inheritance, or it can be a protected inheritance, or it can be a public inheritance. Fine. So whether it is private, whether it is protected, whether it is public, no matter whatever inheritance it is, private members will not be inherited in the base class, in the derived class. So private members of the base class A will remain private no matter what the type of inheritance is. I mean, private or public or protected, right? Now the question only arises of how the protected members are inherited and how the public members are inherited into the derived class. So whichever data or member function is protected, then if we are doing public inheritance, they will be present as protected in my derived class. Fine. Just now we discussed. Whatever is public in my base class, that will remain as public in my derived class in case of public inheritance. Whatever is protected in my base class, that will remain protected even when I am doing protected inheritance. So in case of public and in case of protected inheritance, protected members will remain protected. Whereas whatever is public, that will also be protected. That is the difference between protected and public inheritance. Got this? So we can say whatever is being inherited, that is being kept in the protected part in case of protected inheritance. Fine. Now, whatever is inherited in case of private inheritance, definitely the protected and public part will be inherited. So all of that is kept in the private part of my private section of my derived class. That is class B. Whenever the inheritance is private in nature. Now this would clear up, maybe it would clear all the doubts. So I have a base class A and I have three data members X, Y, and Z of all the three types, right? X is private data member, Y is protected data member, and Z is public data member. Fine. And now I have derived a class B publicly from class A. Now tell me what should be accessible and what should not be accessible in the class B.
Int y will not be accessible.
X will definitely not be accessible. What about Y?
So y is not accessible.
Why is not accessible?
Not accessible.
Not accessible. Is it? I mean, can I have a function in the derived class which can access Y? Yes. What about Z? Z is public, so definitely it will be accessible no matter in the class, outside the class, everywhere it will be accessible. Fine. So Z is public. I mean, it lands up in the public section of my derived class. Y is remains protected member of my derived class B, and X is obviously not accessible. Now, let us take class C, which is inheriting from class A, but in which manner? Protected manner. Now, well, will X be accessible? No. Will Y be accessible? No, not accessible. Huh? Is Z accessible? Yes.
Yes.
But is Y available? Definitely yes. In which section this Y will go? In the protected section of my derived class A. I can imagine a Y data member is present, although it is not physically present, but we can definitely avail it. And definitely the public is also present in the protected part. Right? Observe this. Accessing means from the main. Can I access Y? This Y from the main?
No,
No.
sir.
No, sir.
But is it available for me? Yes.
Yes.
It's available. Through what? Through public functions of the derived class. I hope it's clear to all. Fine. Then what about class D? Now class D is inheriting from class A, but in private manner. So Z, whatever is public will go into the private part. Sorry, whatever is public will go into the private section of the derived class D. Whatever is protected, that also will be going into the private section of class D. And definitely private remains private. It is not accessible.